what's the deal? You already know what it is. Back at us with another video to pump out to my young boys, maybe girls, but not today. It's a very special video today. Today is actually, well, as the title suggests, it's my born day, you know, birthday, you know, as other people call it. But, you know, yeah, essentially the day I was born, February 22nd, 222. That's the day I spawned in. And yeah, we got to see another year. So, juice by that. I'm 24 currently, you know. I be forgetting sometimes, like, I don't know, it's been weird because, you know, I didn't even really know. It's just interesting comparing and contrasting, even just how, you know, I see birthdays now compared to, you know, being younger, being a kid. You know, you tracking every day, every you know, the month, everything like that, you know. This one kind of snuck up on me. I really ain't even realize we was getting close to it until the 18th. Like the 18th, I was like, oh, it's the 18th of February. Like, we about to be here. So, you know, that's just a little, you know, a little tangent. But yeah, it's not nothing, you know, deep to me. You know, it's not nothing overly major. Just feel like another day. You know, it's also the Sabbath today, so I'm not gonna be doing much anyway, but, you know, just reading scriptures and, you know, chilling, for real, chilling. You know, I might maybe ask some people over, maybe later on, I don't know. But, you know, right now, I knew I wanted to obviously read the scriptures at Sabbath, and, you know, I wanted to get on here and really talk about, you know, some things I learned at the age of 23. And I don't know if I already mentioned it, but yeah, turning 24, you know, well, I've turned 24 now, so 24 years of age, you know, still young. You know, I be feeling way older sometimes, and then when the birthday come around, it's like, oh, I'm only, you know, I still got, you know, only 23, oh, I'm 24, like, oh, I still got, you know, some time. So, you know, got Lord willing, and you know, y'all willing. So, definitely still young though, still got a lot to learn, a lot to do. So, you know, we still, you know, kind of in the beginning. So, but no, I wanted to talk about some things that I learned. The main things I learned that at the age of 23. I make these videos, and I did, you know, initially when I was creating this channel, I had, in my mind, I was thinking I was gonna be primarily only talking to a younger demographic of people, you know. That's just kind of how I thought it would go. I thought my content would probably be me being younger. I would probably just gravitate towards people, or people that would gravitate towards me would be people more so younger than me. But, you know, I have a mixed age of people in my audience, and, you know, that's just a little history as to why in my intro I say young boys, maybe girls. So, you know, I know some people thought I'd be saying baby girls, but no, it's young boys, maybe girls. I thought I was gonna be talking to younger boys, younger men, and, you know, I didn't even think girls was gonna be in the equation. I didn't think, you know, women have a reason to watch this type of content. But, you know, we got girls over here too. So, you know, but I just kept, you know, I keep it the same. You know, don't mean nothing by it when I say young boys, maybe girls, it's just the same. But anyway, things I learned at 23. Things I learned at 23. I thought about it for a while, and I could really, I feel like the best way I can explain it is segmenting into two things that I learned. The two main things I learned at the beginning of, you know, the first half of being 23, and something I learned recently, you know, coming towards the end of being 23. So the first thing I learned, not necessarily the first thing I learned, but the most important thing I learned in the first half of being 23 was the fact that you cannot change people. That was a big thing for me, learning that, you know, you can't change people. And you know, I had to learn it the hard way. A lot of the times, chosen ones, you know, we have a big heart. We want to, you know, give people the benefit of the doubt. You know, we hold out on people changing and all of this other type of stuff, and thinking that we have, you know, the power to change people. And, you know, it only leads to, you know, hurt. It only leads to pain, because the reality is you can't change nobody. You can't make somebody be, you know, somebody they're not. You know, only thing you could trust people to do is be that person that they said that they presented themselves to be. You know, shout out to New Breed. That's one of his talking points. But yeah, you can only trust people to be who they say they're gonna be, or who they already shown you to be. And you know, that's where it ends when it comes to the trust thing. You gotta know that, you know, you can't want certain things more for a person than they want it for themselves. You know, that goes in line with trying to change them. You want to see somebody rise up to their higher self. You want to see them be the best version of themselves they can be. But, you know, unfortunately, that's not everybody's path. Not everybody is meant to, you know, rise up and, you know, walk with the Most High and be those, you know, the people that they were essentially called to be. You know, 2/3 of our people, you know, is going to end up being destroyed and crossed out. So that's a vast majority. And, you know, a lot of the times, you know, we gotta swallow that pill and understand that, you know, not everybody is meant to go where you're going. And even though you have a lot of power and influence, you know, sometimes that calling that was put on your life is essentially not, you know, it wasn't arranged the same way for other people. So it may not even be meant for you to be the person to come in that person's life and change them. You know, it could be up to, you know, a different person. And it's not even to say that a different person is going to change them, but we have to start understanding that we don't change people. Environments change people. So that's something that happens over time. That's something that's gradual and changes over time. Like, for example, one analogy I like to use, if you was just simply take an ice cube and you put it out, and you know, you put it out in the sun, you know, no matter, let's pretend that the ice cube was sentient, no matter how much the ice cube may want to stay frozen, it's gonna inevitably melt because of the environment. And even vice versa, you take a glass of water, you put it in the freezer, the water is just not gonna stay a liquid in liquid form. It's going to change and become a solid because the environment is changing it. So you'll see that, you know, happen a lot, even just, you know, when some of y'all day-to-day lives, like when in a scenario where instead of you trying to change somebody and you want them to do what you want them to do and be the person you want them to be right then and there, if you just be yourself, and then, you know, that person is around you or in your circumference, if you just be yourself, you know, certain habits will rub off on that person. It even, you know, we see some of that in the Bible when they talk about how a woman wins over her husband and bring him over into, you know, the faith. She do that through chase conversation, being, you know, modest, humble, and all of those things. And then that man will inevitably, you know, he's either gonna get down with what, you know, she's laying out, because he's gonna be thinking like, okay, you know, what makes her such a great woman? Boom, boom, boom. And then, you know, he see, okay, she's in this scriptures, in this Bible. Let me look into that. You know, that's the type of stuff that changes people, rather than, you know, let's take that same scenario. Instead of a woman being modest, chaste, you know, having humble conversation and, you know, being meek, if instead of doing that, you know, she, you know, Bible thumping or something like that, or a Sunday come and, you know, I'm just assuming, you know, this is a woman who is in, you know, more so Christianity, but, you know, let's say, you know, Sunday, whatever come, and she talking about, you ain't going to church, whoop, you need to be da. When you do stuff like that, not only is you already out of pocket because you're trying to usurp authority over that man, but it's just, and he's not gonna be able to receive that because you ain't speaking his language. You know, you ain't speaking the man and woman language that it's a language that needs to be spoke. And the woman trying to usurp authority over that man in that moment, telling him what he's not doing, what he need to do, anything like that, that kind of verbiage of a woman telling a man, you need to do this, you're not doing this, all of that, you trying to usurp authority over him. You giving him orders, commanding him to do whatever. But men don't speak that language, you know, for the most part. Men aren't receptive to that type of language. You know, that's not what we speak. You're not supposed to be talking to no man like that. But I digress. Regardless, you know, instead of, again, you sit up there, take the approach of do this, do that, instead of just playing your role, being meek, modest, humble, doing all of those things, you'll find way better results because you're not then trying to change that man. You're letting the environment that you're creating around that man change him. Get what I'm saying? And same thing applies, you know, for the men. Same thing applies, you know. You wanna, in business or whatever, like if you in a position of leadership, you know, you can only count on people to do what they're gonna do. You can't force nobody to do anything. That's what you also got. You can't force nobody to do anything, essentially. And if you just lead by example and you just continue to stand out and show how it's done, and you are a person of action, you know, people are gonna follow behind that rather than, you know, jump on board to the person that's barking the orders. You know, that's not real influence. People aren't influenced by, you know, you just barking orders, telling them to do this, and then, or you got a title, and since you got a title, they're gonna follow behind what you're saying. It don't work like that. You know, in order to have actual influence and to be a leader, you also have to be a doer. You know, the person that's leading the pack is the person that's really just, you know, doing the most. If you think about, you know, traffic, you know, you got the fast lane, the middle lane, and then the lane where, you know, people are moving slower because they finna get off, or, you know, whatever they about to get off at, you know, to the next exit, so they moving a little slower. The middle lane, you know, they cruising. They ain't really got to, you know, they know where they gotta go, but, you know, they ain't in no rush. You know, they cruising. They may have to get off over soon. They may have to get over soon. They waiting for that exit. They still, you know, waiting. But, you know, the person in the fast lane, they just taking off, zoom, they going, because, you know, they know exactly where it is they need to go. They leading, essentially. They doing the most. You see that person zoom past you in the fast lane, you think like, okay, if the police come, they getting him first, so I can go a little faster. You get what I'm saying? So it's like that person that's doing the most is the person that's essentially leading the pack, leading the charge. Leadership is action. Again, you can't make nobody do nothing that they don't want to do. Essentially, people are always gonna take the path of least resistance, and they gonna do what's easiest. And whatever is easiest is just, you better understand that that's gonna take priority. And the priority is doing what they want to do. You can't change that. But you're dealing with people, period, you know. And for example, let's say you don't eat pork, and you know, you say, okay, boom, I don't eat pork for a blase split reason, and you just keep it at that. You don't eat pork. You know, you'll be surprised. Like, instead of condemning somebody for, you know, not doing it, I mean, obviously you stand on what you stand on. You point out to, this is why I don't do it. Boom, boom, boom. Leviticus is in the laws. Boom, I don't do it. Leave it at that. Cool. But you know, you sit up there and you just stand on what you stand on. You always be surprised. You'll see people around you. Oh, you know, I stopped eating pork, or I don't eat pork no more. Woo, woo, woo. You know, you plant certain seeds that linger in their mind. You'll have an easier time getting those people to going that method. You have an easier time getting people to actually, you know, convert, or, you know, see the light, rather than if you just be like, oh, every chance you get, you see somebody eating it, like, boom, you eating that, da 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 da. You shouldn't do that, boom, 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 boom. That's you trying to control that person. That's you trying to control them instead of creating an environment or where they want to follow influence. And that's just what you just gotta know. As you gotta know. That's one of the things that I learned, at early 23, dealing with certain people, wanting to see, trying to see the best in everybody, wanting them to be the person that I want them to be, when in actuality they are just gonna always be the person they are. And you cannot change that. You just gotta charge that to the game. So that was one of the first major things I learned at the age of 23. The second thing I learned going towards the end of the 23 was actually just being honest versus being transparent. I had a coworker I was talking to this about, and it ended up sticking with me. Just the difference between being honest and being transparent. As a man, I know a lot of the times as men, we want to have, we got plenty of reason to go the route of being honest over being transparent. Me just myself being transparent with y'all, I'm the type of person where I like to be mysterious. I like to keep my cards, to myself. I like to just be reserved. I like people not knowing too much about me. So, it's like a power in it, in the mystique. But that's not the way all the time. It's not the way. Like, to give you an example, honesty versus transparency, I was, transparent with y'all the other day. In the video I was talking about, losing my car, losing the apartment and everything like that. It was a moment where it was like, okay, I could have easily got on there and been like, yeah, I just been going through some stuff, or whatever. Or, I could have been like, I was going through some stuff, I was gone, I'm back now. Whoa, and that'd be it. But, instead, and that's cool, but that doesn't really help, that doesn't help the people like I would want to help the people. I want people to know exactly what I'm going through, because that could be a learning experience for somebody else out there that may see this, somebody else that might be going through something similar or needed that message. So, I could go keep my cards tucked and be like, yeah, I just was going through some stuff, but I'm back. But instead, put it all on the table. Like, hey, I done lost this, I done lost that. I feel like I lost it for this reason. Boo. And we here, we back, and now we flowing. And that's just how I believe it should go. And then the thing is, that's how Adam, Christ was too. He wasn't just always, reserved or closed off, had a bunch of walls up, not letting people in when he was going through stuff. He let them know when he was, in pain or stuff like that. Like, I seen, my boy sent me this the other day. I don't want to mess it up, but Christ apparently, he was he was being transparent. He said, sit here while I go over there and pray. My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch for me. And it was just like, damn, it was just bold and to the point. He let them know, like, my soul is I'm grieving right now. My soul feel like it's dying, and I gotta go pray. I'll be back. He ain't say, stay right here, I'll be back. Or he ain't say, and they be like, what's wrong? He be like, no, nothing is good. I'm about to just go pray real quick. And, we as men be wanting to be super stoic, and we want to not show, no emotion, or show, that we not going through nothing. But, it don't help the people around us. It doesn't help anybody, because in our weakness, Christ is strong in our weakness. And that's, 2 Corinthians, they talk about that a lot. Where, just being strong in our weakness. In a moment where we're weak, Christ's perfection and his strength, it shines even brighter, because he went through the same thing. And, and through him who strengthened us, it gives him the glory, because we're supposed to be weak. you know, the student is never gonna, you know, we ain't gonna outdo Christ. We're not gonna, you know, we ain't gonna go through nothing he ain't went through. And you know, that's just how it go. So you can't expect to sit up there and think you know, you about to go through life and tank all of the hardships and all of the troubles and just take it on the chin and just be strong and not let nobody in and think, you know, you think you live in Christ's light. It don't work like that, because if you shine the light on your weakness and you let that be known, it gives glory. All it does is it gives glory to Christ, because now they see your weakness, but when they see you bounce back, or they see you still being strong, it's only one thing that could possibly be power in that, and that's the Messiah. You know, that's the Messiah. So you gotta know that, you know, being strong in your weakness only gives glory to the Father. But if you never display that weakness at all in the first place, then it's no glory being brought out there. And another thing, you know, you essentially are trying to be, you know, perfect, and you got to follow me here, because, you know, it's a balance to it, because we are supposed to seek to be perfect, because, you know, as Christ was. But at the end of the day, you know, we're not. You know, we all already got a laundry list of sins already, and Christ is the only one that sat up there and went through it. And, you know, he went through life and did it perfectly, sinless, blameless. You know, he's the only one that did it. So yes, we want to thrive to be Christ-like and be perfect, but at the end of the day, we're not. We already did what we did. We already here. We already in the mix. So, you know, take that into consideration when you are trying to be that person where you hiding your weakness, you trying to stay reserved and be nonchalant and all of that type of stuff, because at the end of the day, you know, you're trying to be, you want to essentially be perfect. You want to be perfect in the eyes of man. You want them to see you a certain way where you don't have any flaws, but that's wrong, because you have plenty of them. So, and you know, each one teach one, iron sharpen iron. You know, you closing the doors on a lot of opportunities for your own growth and the growth of those around you, just by trying to stay in that mindset of not displaying any form of weakness or being perfect and being in line with what you think other people should see you as all the time. So, you know, that was definitely a major thing I learned. Honesty versus transparency. You know, I can get on here and be transparent, because I'm not threatened by nobody on the other side of these cameras, or, you know, these things. You know, it is what it is. I know my relationship with the Most High. I know his relationship with me. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And, you know, we're locked in. So I just know it's like, what reason would I have to be, you know, intimidated by, you know, being transparent with some of y'all? I'm talking about some of y'all, all of y'all that see this, or, you know, or even my day-to-day life. You know, I told people around me, like, you know, I'm just gonna be myself, and, you know, and if you snake me, you snake me. You're gonna have to deal with the consequences of that, because again, I know the God that I serve. I know you doing anything to me is just, you know, that's not gonna be a good look for you, and, you know, it's not gonna end well for you. So I tell people straight up, like, hey, I'm being myself. I'm keeping it 100. You snake me, you're gonna have to deal with the consequences of that. I'm not about to tiptoe. I'm not about to put all these walls up, keep myself reserved and all of that type of stuff out of what? You know, I know who on my side, and it's like, it is what it is. I'm here for, you know, I'm here to bring glory to the kingdom, and I'm here to teach these people. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, those are pretty much my main two lessons I learned at the age of 23. Definitely looking forward to see what 24 brings. And, you know, my camera's about to die, so we right on time. That's the video for today. Appreciate everybody that tapped in. Yeah, again, happy born day to me. And yeah, love y'all, take care, stay safe. I'm on y'all boys. This that reality shit.